Hey guys out there, you get one of the I don't know middle or later games of the round of 64 today with uh, Mike Arnold playing a deck he never played before, Survival Elves, and Mike Harris playing the Rock, which sounds like there might be similar levels of playability in it. I think Survival Elves looks like a relatively stock deck list. Rock looks sweet with Histrodons. Granted, I played a beast deck back in the day, so I'm a little fond of that card too. So, but let's get to the match. Here we are, and I'll bring the guys in.
I'm good at them all.
Okay. I'll keep.
So you guys are good to go. Why am I still on screen? Pop that out. There we go. That's much better. So I'll let you guys start. Good luck and go Histrodons.
All right,
Absolutely.
hey, everybody. Mike Harris is mulliganing.
Hopefully,
Mike
for
Arnold
the
is
first time.
keeping.
I'll let you guys have at it and go on mute.
Yep. While Mike is doing that, I am going to take a look at the voting. See
Yeah.
how this all
See how many
went
people.
down.
Mm-hmm.
Predictions.
Where's the voting going on Meta?
No, this is on
Common Ninja.
Common Ninja.
Common Ninja.
So
Ninja.
no surprise, Elves is the favorite, but it's not as big of a lopsided vote as I would think. So it's 24 to 10.
Yeah, I mean, Deed gets out there and all that, but we'll chat about all that at the end. Good luck, guys. I'll stay on mute this time.
All right.
Sounds good. I will keep this hand.
Okay.
And I will bottom this one.
All right.
Lead us off.
Well, once upon a time, there was an elf. Past you.
Yep. Flashbacks to PSS 1. And I'm going to be leading off with a Forest Go.
All right, untap, draw. Let's see here. I'm going to play Foothills and I'll fetch 19.
Sounds good.
Go to Forest.
Hmm.
Play Symbiote.
Sure.
Play Priest.
Sure.
Past you.
Drop. Stronghold.
Mm-hmm.
Wall.
Sure.
Draw my card.
Mm-hmm.
And pass to you.
Untap. All right, draw for turn.
Mm-hmm.
Cradle.
Sure.
Tap 2 and 3. Play Granger.
Sure.
Go get the mountain.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to activate Symbiote.
Sure.
Bouncing the Granger back to my hand to untap.
Mm-hmm.
And then tap for 3, play Granger again.
Sure.
Then we'll go ahead and swing it with the team for 3.
And I will block. I'll block the priest because I don't like her.
Okay.
All right. Go to 18.
All right, and then I'll pass to you.
Tap.
Mm-hmm.
Draw. Swamp.
Mhm.
Deed.
There's the deed.
And you're up.
End of turn, bounce the Granger to untap
Yep.
Priest.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Draw.
Mhm.
Forced.
Sure.
2 and 3.
Mhm.
Granger.
Yep.
And then I'm going to bounce the Granger back to my hand. And then do the same thing. Play Granger.
That's quite the land you have there.
Most impressive.
Yeah.
All right. And then we'll go ahead and swing with the team
For 3 again.
for 3.
Block the priest.
All right.
Take
Go
2 to
16.
16.
And I'll pass.
All right. Untap.
Mhm.
Drop. Symbiote is 1
1/1.
casting cost. 1.
Yeah. Yeah, 1 casting cost.
I'm gonna go ahead and pop the deed for 2.
In response, what do I save? Let's go ahead and activate Symbiote. I'll go ahead bounce the Granger.
Sure. And then your turn.
All right, untap. And draw.
Mhm.
Granger.
Sure.
Llanowar Elves.
Sure.
Tanglewire.
Ooh. Well met, sir.
And with that, I will pass.
End of your turn. I'll Vendetta the Llanowar.
Okay.
I go to 15.
Mhm.
Untap. Tap for Tanglewire.
Mhm.
Drop. Your go.
Untap. Fade will resolve first. This will resolve last.
Mhm.
Do 1, 2, 3. Pay Echo. Draw. Symbiote.
Sure.
Anger. Attack for 4.
Hard cast the anger.
Hard cast the anger.
Yep. No blocks. So that's 4.
And I'll
11.
pass to you.
Untap. Tap for Tanglewire. Drop. Cards in?
None.
0. All right. I will play a swamp. And I'll pass to you.
Untap.
Mhm.
Fade will resolve first. Echo will be last. So 2. Tap that. And that. Pay Echo.
Mhm.
Draw. Attack for 5.
I go to 6.
Play an Acolyte. Draw.
Sure.
Priest.
Mhm.
Activate Symbiote to bounce Acolyte back to my hand.
Sure.
Untapping the Granger.
Mhm.
I'll go ahead, float 4 green. Play Acolyte, have 2 floating.
Mhm.
Draw. And then I will play Findhorn Elf and pass to you.
Right. Tap. Upkeep. Tap Swamp and Stronghold.
Mhm.
Draw.
Mhm.
And that would be game.
All right.
Yep. Got
Tangle Wire, good card.
Tangle Wire is definitely a good card. I kept a phenomenal hand if I could draw a black source, which I did, but it would have been much better if I could have led off with the duress, and then I think it was a turn late for the deed.
Yeah, so I didn't. I don't think I had any non-creatures in my opening hand. So I had.
Oh, okay. So did
Because
you
I
draw the
had.
Tangle Wire late?
Yeah, I drew the thing where I late.
Because I was considering playing the duress. That's why I left the black up.
Mm-hmm.
But then I also had the vendetta. But then I kept thinking, like, if you had survival, you would have played it, and a Tangle Wire, like, you probably would have played that as well
Mm-hmm.
to slow me way down. So it was kind of like, duress is not great here.
Take a look at your build again.
Yeah, so for the viewers, this is my first time playing the rock. And I believe this is not your first time. Correct me if I'm wrong on that.
Not my first time. No, definitely not my first time.
You've played Elves before, I believe. In fact, you've beaten
Just a bit.
me the first round of the PSS1 with
That I
Elves.
did. Yep. A very different Elves
That was a
build at
close
that
match
time.
though, because I was playing Junzu, and that was still a fun match.
It was still a fun match. You definitely drew a lot of removal game 2,
Mm-hmm.
but you didn't have quite enough. You didn't have like as much removal as like a slide deck,
Right.
which is why I was able to do it.
Didn't have exactly what I needed.
Of course, I got to play a lot more fun cards in that version of survival. This like it's funny. Like I really enjoy Elves and I really enjoy Full English Breakfast,
Mm-hmm.
but then Survival Elves just seems, I don't know, it seems too simple. Um,
It's not as difficult to play as either of the other two, even though it's combining them.
yeah, it really, really is. Okay, so you've got that.
Yeah, I think the general consensus these days is that Survival Elves is the best deck in the format.
I mean, I don't think Goblins has ever gotten its, love because Goblins has always placed well.
Oh yeah,
No matter like what has
definitely
been
tier 1.
yeah. I mean, in the days when like everyone was playing Stifle Knot, Goblins still showed up.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And in the days when like everyone's playing Elves, like, Goblins still shows up, still places. So
For sure.
Goblins is like um, the rock steady
Mm-hmm.
performance, and I do kind of give um, a lot of weight to that. But
Oh yeah. No, Goblins is a very solid deck. And I mean, I'm not one to say like Survival Elves is out of control, best deck, hands down.
mhm.
But I do think it might edge all the other tier 1s out. Um, but not by much, you know.
Yeah. Well, I have a lot of thoughts, on survival elves because, of course, I played a lot of elves and I know what
Mhm.
makes it tick. And,
Yeah.
I've, just general thoughts about how people have reacted, to elves. Um, I think some people are kind of, starting to catch on, but like engineer plague, you can't just throw a couple engineer plagues in the sideboard and be like, expect to have a good elves matchup. It just
Right.
doesn't work that way.
It doesn't.
Um, yeah, it's interesting. We're coming up on the year, where I was actually coming in to talk about elves on the
That's right.
pre-modcast.
Yeah. I
And it's
believe it
funny.
was December, right? Because it was around Christmas.
Yeah, it's so funny because I made the comment on there. It's like, elves is like it's a tier like 2 deck. It's kind of like knocking on the door of 1.5, but it's not quite there yet. And then of course, you know, later that, it was that monthly that,
I was gonna
Robert
say,
won.
wasn't it
Yeah,
within the month?
it was that same month
Oh,
where,
wow.
yeah, Robert was able to take it down, and then some other people started to really, really notice it because he like made a top 16 before, but I don't think he went anywhere.
Who was it who really broke it?
Robert Culleri. I'm not sure how you pronounce his
Robert
last name.
Couleri? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kudos. Really, really took that deck and just made it explode because I feel like after that, so many people were playing it. And I've I haven't actually played it because I do not have cradles and will not get cradles, but I've definitely just tested it out, just kind of like goldfishing on
Hmm.
cockatrice. And yeah, I like what you said about the comparisons between regular elves and full English breakfast, and how survival elves just seems like the easier version. Because it's a pretty linear game plan when you're
Hmm.
like way ahead and like just like I win. But then also when things are not going your way, it still has so many backup options,
Hmm.
and so many strange lines of play that people who haven't played against it don't know or see coming.
Yeah. Well, who thought that who had down in their predictions that game one would be won with me swinging in with anger?
Right. That's a great point. Gotta love this game. I will be on the play. You're cool if I check
Yeah.
out my hand? Yeah. I've been shuffling that whole time.
Yeah. I was really debating what to side in with you.
Hmm.
Because I've got reps in with survival elves, but I don't have like a ton of reps. I don't have. Um, I think Jens has just been playing it like crazy the last couple months, and
Mhm.
um, I think Frank. We might as well call him Rafellos at this point. How do you pronounce your last name, Frank? Rolefs or something like that. But he won 2 of the monthlies, with elves right
Mhm.
there.
Yeah.
So, and who knows how many other events. But I know Jens has played it. He won a monthly with it. I'm not sure. He also took second in the Easter event.
Mhm.
Yeah, and he's played it in a bunch of different things. I won the with the in the Explorers League, the remastered event,
Mhm.
where you had like the Time Spiral remastered, and I basically just took Survival Elves, and the only 2 cards you really gain are Reclamation Sage and Eternal Witness.
Right. Which are
But I
good
swapped
cards
out
for
my
sure.
Llanowar. Yeah, I swapped out my Llanowar Elves for Elvish Mystics just as a joke.
Nice. I'll keep this hand.
I'm gonna mulligan that.
Alrighty.
Seems quite terrible.
Yeah, it's kind of. I feel like uh, just the idea for elves being dominant in pre-modern, like was there in everyone's mind, obviously yours. But like because it's so big in Legacy and so many of the cards from the Legacy Elves are in Premodern, but everyone was kind of like, well, no Crater Hoof, so. But it's like,
Oh man,
well, survival, come all.
can you imagine my like my natural order elves with Crater Hoof? You
Oh
know,
my god, yeah. Yeah, I mean that
all
would
that you
probably be
need.
the way to build it
Mhm.
if Crater Hoof was in. You know, it'd probably be better than survival.
And that, I mean, that's a very solid. I mean, I feel like I had my list pretty solid. I went 3-3 in the Winter Blast, very close to going 4-2 with it. But I mean, it was a solid deck and everything, but it doesn't have the staying power that um, having survival does.
Yeah, for sure.
I will go ahead and keep this one.
Cool.
And bottom that.
All right, we good?
Yep. Lead us off.
I'm gonna lead off with Llanowar Wastes. Go to 19 for a Cabal Therapy.
Okay.
And I am going to name Survival.
All right. You will see Acolyte, Fintorn Elves, Quarian Ranger, and some lands.
Wow. All right, you're up.
All right, draw. Forest, Elf, and pass.
All right, untap.
Mhm.
Draw. Another Wastes.
Mhm.
Go to 18 Bird.
Sure.
Gonna flashback the therapy.
Okay.
And I'll name Multani's Acolyte.
Okay. You're going to see a Wirewood Symbiote.
One of the ones I would like to hit, but 2 Acolytes, can't pass that up.
Not bad.
Then I will go to 17 and play another bird.
Okay.
And pass to you.
Untap, draw. Foothill, swing for 1.
I will go to 16.
All right, fetch.
19.
Go to Forest, play Symbiote.
Sure.
Play Ranger, past you.
Cool. Untap. Draw.
Mm-hmm.
Play a factory.
Okay.
Taking a point. I'll play a deed. 15.
Okay.
I'll go ahead and pop it for 1.
Response, I will activate Symbiote to bounce the Fintorn to my hand.
Sounds good. You're up.
Okay. Untap, draw. Forest and an Elf, past you.
Got it. Untap. Draw.
Mm-hmm.
Cards in hand?
1.
Hmm. Play a stronghold.
Mm-hmm.
Go to 14.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll play another Cabal Therapy.
Okay.
And I'm down to 2 things. I'm going to name Deranged Hermit.
Deranged Hermit.
Yes. Oh. And then for colorless, I will play a Morph.
Okay.
Guess what it is? Your go.
Draw. All right, I'll pass you.
All right. Untap.
Mhm.
Draw. I will attack you with the morph.
All right, no blocks, no effects.
I will take 2 for double green. Flip it up, going to 12. Histrodon. Trigger as you go to 16 and I draw a card. And I will play a forest and say go.
All right, I'll draw. Play priest.
Sure.
Past you.
Tap. Draw. I'll play another factory.
Okay.
I'll activate this one.
Okay.
And I'll attack.
Okay, no blocks.
I will pump factory.
Okay. Go to 10.
And trigger on the Histrodon. Drop. Taking a point to 11. Play a Wall of Blossoms.
Okay.
Drop. Your go.
All right, untap. Draw. Play Fandhorn Elf.
Sure.
And past you.
Tap. Drop. One card in hand.
One card.
I will activate both factories.
Okay.
Attack.
So I got 7 coming in at me. Let's go ahead and naturalize a factory.
Cute.
I'll take 5.
And trigger on the Histrodon. You go to 5. I draw a card. I'll play a Treetop Village and say go.
All right. Untap. Draw. That is pretty bad. All right, I'll pass you.
All right. Untap. Draw. I'll play a Swamp. Activate the Treetop Village. Activate the Factory.
Okay.
And swing in.
All right, block Histrodon, block Factory.
All right. So trigger on the Histrodon. You take 3, 4, 5.
Let's see. Oh wait, he tramples.
Yeah, both are trample.
I still take 5. Yeah, that's game.
Okay.
I have to draw Hermit out of this, and even then,
Yeah.
it was.
It's a risky one. Whew. That name of Hermit.
Yep. Well, and also like Alkalite, you being able to snag both of them right there. That was very good.
Yeah. Because my opening hand was 2 birds and a therapy. And I was like, all right, so I just go ahead and therapy, naming the thing I'm most afraid of, and then whatever is actually scary, I get next turn. Because I was kind of thinking like you're not like full English breakfast. Like you're not dead set on keeping a survival.
Correct.
Your deck has so many other lines that I was like, I guess that's the right blind call, but there's just so many different pieces to your puzzle.
Hmm.
Yeah, maybe I should double check my sideboard as well. I think that's right.
Oh, gotta do that. That feels better to me.
Transformational sideboard.
You know I'm a sucker for those.
I tried that for the first time with the Dredgeless Dredge deck I played a couple months ago.
Mhm.
Did not turn out very well.
There's only a couple decks that can really do it. You know,
Yeah.
the Angry Hermit into Stifle Knot was one
Well,
of
wasn't
those.
that your creation?
Yeah, that was my idea, which I kind of came up at the same time that a few other people were doing the hybrid.
Gotcha.
Um,
They were doing main deck and you decided to do it board.
yeah, I didn't see those first.
Yeah. It's your
It
idea.
was
I give
yeah,
you credit.
yeah. The first guy who did it was I don't even think he's played in a paper monthly. He's just done online stuff,
Oh,
and he
interesting.
has the first results from it, and that's like late August.
Okay.
Um, and anyway, I went like because I messaged Flint about it first, and that was like mid-September or something like
Okay.
that. So I hadn't even seen the results or anything because it's MTGO. Wasn't checking
Yeah.
those,
No, me either. I assume
and then
you'd
another
be
guy in Spain, did
right. The
started.
Techno Liga,
Yep.
which is now Techno Druid or whatever they call it. I think it's called Techno Druid.
Oof, that is so bad. Mulligan that.
Oh no.
Oh man. The top looks so beautiful too. 5 lands. 5 lands. I don't
I
think I
think
can.
I have to mulligan this as well.
Okay. That makes me feel better.
Yeah. Mine was the opposite. 2 lands, but no acceleration and entirely large casting cost things. I cannot sit there and do nothing for 3 or 4 turns against you.
Nope. Nope. Too bad. Like the top of my deck was actually beautiful. It was like 2 mana elves and an
You're like,
Elvish
here we go.
champion.
Here we go.
I mean, granted, I would have rather had those in my hand if I could replace,
Of
those
course.
with some of the lands that I had. But it was 5 lands, Aquarian Ranger, and then a Deranged Hermit. It's like that
Ah.
is not enough. All right, I'm gonna keep this
Cool.
and put that on the bottom.
Yeah, I'll keep this. I'll bottom that one.
All right.
All right, lead us off.
Start off with the foothills and fetch.
Sure. And then an elf, I'm guessing.
That would be a pretty good guess. I mean, it is the name of the deck. Ranger, past you.
Sounds good. That would be an elf.
Mhm.
Draw. I will lead off with Treetop, go.
Untap. Draw.
Mhm.
Green.
Mhm.
Float to untap.
Mhm.
Replay. Priest. Swing for 1.
All right. 19 all.
I guess I could have played that more optimally in an untap Ranger. Past you.
Whatever. Untap. I don't think it's going to come into play. Draw. I'll go Forest. All blossoms.
Sure.
Draw.
Mhm.
And go.
Untap. Draw.
Mhm.
Symbiote.
You got it.
Acolyte.
Mhm.
Draw.
Mhm.
All right, 1 second.
Nope. Take your time.
Bounce my hand.
Mhm.
Untap Priest.
Yep.
Play Forest.
Mhm.
Tap for 3.
Mhm.
Tangle Wire.
Yeah, boy. Sure.
Activate Symbiote to untap Bouncing Acolyte.
Mhm.
Untap Priest. Tap for 2. Play Acolyte.
You got it.
Draw.
Mhm.
All right, I played my land for the turn. And I believe Symbiote came into play this turn. Yes.
Yes.
Priest was okay. And no use attacking. I'll pass to you.
All right. Untap. Tap for wire.
Mhm.
Draw. Play Llanowar Waste.
Okay.
I'll take a point and I'll Vendetta the Symbiote. 18 for that.
Response, I will bounce the Acolyte to untap.
Okay.
All right, you go to 18.
Then go to 17.
Okay.
And your go.
All right. So Fade resolves first.
Mhm.
Tap 3. I'll draw for turn.
Mhm.
Tap for 2.
Mhm.
Acolyte.
Yep.
Draw.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think that's worth it. Play Cradle.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome in your situation.
I'll bounce to untap the Ranger and then swing
Mhm.
it for 1.
Go to 16.
All right, past you.
Tap. I will tap all but the wall.
Mhm.
Drop.
Mhm.
Treetop Village.
Okay.
Here we go.
All right, untap. Fade. I'll pay for Acolyte's Echo.
Mhm.
Draw. Forced. Tap for 3.
Sure.
Tangle Wire.
Well, isn't that fun?
It's gonna be one of those games. You didn't think I drafted Mud, did you? I will bounce the force to my hand to untap Ranger.
You got it.
And then swing for 3.
I will block the Acolyte.
Okay.
And you're swinging for 4.
Oh, the priest is already tapped.
So
you're
swinging with the Acolyte and the... Okay.
Yeah,
My bad. So I take 1. Go to 15.
All right. I've got 6 cards in hand. I'll pass.
All right. I have to tap 6 things?
Yep.
I knew I had to tap them all. I just wasn't sure how many more than what I have. I will play a Llanowar Waste and say go.
All right. Untap. Fades will resolve first.
Yep.
Go to 1. Go to 3. 1, 2. Yeah, I'll tap. This is hard. It's hard. Well, gotta tap 2 more. Tap those 2.
Okay.
All right, I'll draw.
Mm-hmm.
Play a forest.
Okay.
And attack for 2.
I go to 13.
And I'll pass.
I gotta tap 4.
4.
I'll tap these 4 lands.
Okay.
Drop.
Mm-hmm.
And pass to you.
All right, untap. Fade down to 2.
Mm-hmm.
Tap the wires.
Mm-hmm.
Draw.
Another wire.
Be careful what you wish for.
Honestly, with how many times it's happened to me. Yep.
It's coming. Infernal spawn of evil. Symbiote.
Yep.
Tap for 3.
Sure.
Bounce the Acolyte.
Yep.
Untap. Play the Acolyte.
Mm-hmm.
Draw.
Mm-hmm.
Symbiote.
Yep.
Tap for 3. Activate Symbiote.
Yep.
Bounce. Play the Acolyte. Draw.
Yep.
All right. I have not played a land this turn, correct?
I honestly don't know, but I'm sure you're right.
All right. Play Llanowar Elf with that remaining. I'm going to bounce a force to my hand to untap Priest.
Yep.
Tap for a bajillion. Play Tangle Wire.
Yep. Believe that's 6 you're tapping.
6, yeah. Well, it's 6 fading, but yeah, the tapping for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Cradle taps for 6, and then Priest taps for 4.
Right.
All right. Go to combat.
You got it.
All right. I'm going to attack for 4.
With Acolyte being one of?
Yeah. No, Acolyte cannot be one of them because he's summoning sick. Attack for 2.
Thank you. Then I will block one of them.
All right. He was attacking for so many turns, did such great work. But I figured once I saw the symbiote, it was. I might have played that wrong doing that pre-combat, but yeah. All right. With that, I'll pass.
All right, so tap 6.
Mhm.
Draw. Swap, go.
All right. In turn, bounce the Acolyte.
Yep.
Untap Priest.
Mhm.
All right. Fades will resolve first.
Mhm.
Go to 1. Go to 3. Well, this one will resolve last. The fading will resolve last on this one.
Okay.
Makes sense. Okay.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, and 4. And then this dies.
Okay.
All right. Draw. I think that should do it. Forced.
Mhm.
Survival.
Oh boy. Yeah, let's see you win.
All right. Tap for 4. 3. Discard squee.
Okay. I'm just gonna sit back, so just know I'm saying sure to everything you do.
All right. Sounds good. Sounds good. And then we'll just do the fast line of getting Kamal. So I will. I don't want to do that yet. Activate Ranger. To untap Priest. He's got 3 right there. Tap for another 3.
All right.
Play Kamal.
Cool.
And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I will activate with 1 floating, so they all get +3/+3.
Yep.
And then I will activate Kamal to untap,
Mhm.
and we will swing in for 16.
That would be game.
Right.
Not much I can do against 3 tangle wires.
I was debating about that. I'm glad I ended up doing it. So I took off the tangle wires on the draw
Mm-hmm.
and then put them back in on the play.
Oh, you took them out. Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that they're like pretty much your way to win in this matchup.
Yeah, it's just tricky because I do want the naturalized to be able to take care of, engineer plague, and you do run 3 of those.
Right.
So that's really important. I can't dilute the deck too much, with the main engine.
Mm-hmm.
So
I think if you hadn't had the third one, I would have been able to come back because I had the deed, and next turn I'm able to untap with 5, and then I can just pop it for 2.
I had the collar sitting in my hand the entire time.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah.
In that case, yep, not winnable.
Yeah, so naturalize
I
is
really wanted to cast this against you.
that would have been so sweet.
I know, like my ideal play in the post sideboard games would have been to pull off a deed and you go, well, that doesn't matter because, I still bounce some things back to my hand with symbiote and I still go off. But then I do that.
Yep. Oh yeah, I was wondering if you'd bring those in. It would have been sweet if you.
Yeah, I mean, I guess in retrospect, I should have brought in more naturalized. I think I only brought in 1 because I was kind of thinking like, you win so quickly once you have survival out. Naturalize is not even that great, and I should have kept them. I should have brought more in for the tangle wire, in particular.
The Tangle Wire, yeah, Tangle Wire is definitely a good one. But also, like, I think naturalize for survival makes a lot of sense because I'm trying to play survival out as quickly as possible against you in order to avoid the discard.
Right. Well, that was
Um,
my thinking. Was
mhm,
like I'm playing the discard for the survival,
mhm.
so I didn't need as many naturalizes. But I guess in retrospect, yeah, just bring them all in. Screw it. There's probably people shouting at the chat like, "You idiot, Mike."
What, for engineered plague?
No,
Or
bringing in more. I only brought in one naturalize
mm,
because I was kind of thinking like it's really just the survival and the tangle wires.
yep.
But I mean, they're like the best cards in your deck. So
Mhm.
You guys want some questions from the viewers?
Sure.
sure, yeah.
Let's see, I'm gonna pop my screen back up. So let's see. Yay, it did it good. Let's see.
Yeah, I guess I take out the other recurring nightmare against you.
That
Then
makes
bring
sense.
in
You
more
really.
naturalizes.
Hmm.
So I just don't have time for it.
One question that was asked was, since he can deal, there's ways to deal with engineered plague. Had you considered using plague spitters?
Me,
Yeah.
I had considered it, but I kind of in my other times that I've played against elves with engineered plague, like me and Mike were talking about this a little bit about how you have so many ways to deal with it, but it's still been just such an incredible card against elves that I've always kind of felt like even if it's just a one turn, basically wrath
Hmm.
against you, it's still worth it over plague because plague you have to wait until the next upkeep,
Yeah.
whereas plague you catch
Oh
people
yeah, yeah.
on.
Yeah, he doesn't have the ability to ritual it out. I mean, you can turbo it out with birds, but then
Birds,
you have
yeah.
to, you know, lose your birds, which doesn't feel great, but I think it's still probably worth it. But yeah, with engineered plague, you really have to run a minimum of 3, with it,
Mm-hmm.
because it boils down to math here. This is why like engineered plague, doesn't typically beat elves, is because you've got the Elvis champion and then 4 survivals to find it, plus 4 naturalized to deal with the plague, and then Caller of the Claw just to come right back.
Yep.
So the math is not in your favor,
Right.
Yep.
with engineer plague. But if you load up on them, you can still make them have it,
Mm.
especially with because you're already in black, you've got the discard to snag that naturalize or whatever. So you're starting to come back from the math. But if you just throw like engineer plague or 2 like in your sideboard and just call it good against elves, that's not enough.
Right, exactly. You need multiple ways to attack the elf deck for
In
sure.
terms, I'll just use your last names.
Yeah.
Yes.
Arnold, is what's more feared for you in an elf deck, seeing the engineered plays coming out or Cursed Totem? With
That's a
Totem
good
giving
one.
you a trigger, giving the opponent a draw trigger in addition to it.
Yeah, I mean, Totem is really, really good. It does depend on the board state, because sometimes you can just beat down. You can have like a couple acolytes and an Elvis champion, and you can just keep going, or you just like already have the cradle and your elves out, and you play deranged hermit. So it does really depend on the board state at that point. I would say most of the time, engineer plague is going to be better than that, but then again, Curse Totem does go in any deck
Yep.
and can be a little faster.
What do you mean by the draw trigger? You mean like his acolytes?
No, that I was brain farting
You think it's
into my
Sabo's
next
Web?
card. I was going to say next Sabo's Web.
Yeah.
How does that impact your deck? Because it screws with the man lands, which screws with your. It doesn't really screw with your mana base as badly as it just.
The rock,
screws.
yeah, no, the rock doesn't care.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
No.
yeah,
I mean, if you had.
It does suck.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
was
you
trying to
do
think
have a
of-
lot of man lands, but it's definitely something you can play around because
Yeah.
it's like
Well, I
your
guess the question's
man
good for both of
lands.
you because it probably hurts the rock more because there's just so much mana dorks out there for.
Well, how does it
elves.
affect elves?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, Sabo's Web
Sabo's
doesn't
Web
affect
affects
elves
elves
at
at all.
Oh yeah, I'm completely asleep already. I think I slept 3 hours
Lies.
last night.
Yeah, you don't sleep.
But yeah, no, I really wanted
There's
to
daylight.
Haunting
That's nice.
Echoes somebody.
Oh god, that would have been great.
But yeah, unfortunately, yeah, Elves is just so fine-tuned that you
Mm-hmm.
don't get to do those like cute things about it. So a couple months ago, I played against John Rowe in
Mm-hmm.
the pod, and I had Teferi's Moat in my sideboard, and I like locked down the game. I felt like so great, and then he like naturally top decks his Masticore and is able to
Mm-hmm.
beat me down with it for the win. So Sablo's or yeah, Teferi's Moat was definitely one of those cute things, which I tried, but you can't be too cute.
No. Let me see. I know there's other questions. Harold, had you considered using a Wish package, or was there a specific reason you decided not to use a Wish package?
Damon Harris.
Oh, sorry. God. Ah.
I was like, Gaia's Herald. What are we?
I need caffeine.
I'm I've played Wish decks before, and I've just never been a fan of them.
Mm.
They've never felt as good as they seem on paper.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's just so many times when you're playing against a deck that a silver bullet, there is no silver bullet for, and you just want a tighter 60. But also, like, green and black have incredible sideboard cards. So I feel like using a bunch of slots
Mm-hmm.
uh, when they can, like, really just own. I'd much rather just have a tight 75 than a
Mm-hmm.
Wish package.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's not to say that that's the correct answer.
Mm-hmm.
I know some people who are much better with like tutors and Wish packages. It's just
Mm-hmm.
not really my thing.
Yeah. Arnold, was that all of your land in game one?
Not quite. I'll
That
have to
was a
go back and
lot
see
of
what.
forests.
But yeah, I had like what 7 forests
So
or
many
Something
something
like
out.
seven.
Grangers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was entertaining. Arnold again. Some of the viewers were wondering regarding your acolytes, bouncing them in end of turn to get the draws. Was there, what was your thinking in bouncing them versus just going more aggro and trying to punch with them?
I felt I was in pretty good control of the game at
Mm-hmm.
that point. So because I did have the other, wire sitting in my hand, and I
Mm-hmm.
had um,
Yeah, caller.
the call of the claw,
Mm-hmm.
just as insurance,
Yep.
right there. So I was really just digging in for survival or
Mm-hmm.
for hermit, something like that to just
Yep.
close out the game immediately rather than just improving the clock by a little
Mm-hmm.
bit.
Harris, was there a reason? Um, it's more of a general question for, I guess, players with black. Is had you considered contagion at all?
I've played Contagion in like Suicide Black. I don't think it's that necessary in the Rock because with the Rock you've got four deeds,
Mm-hmm.
and Contagion, like, it's a great card. I love
Mm-hmm.
it, but Deed is just so much better at doing that. I mean, if you're taking out, like, Contagion is obviously best when you're taking out two creatures for one,
Yep.
since you're using two cards on it.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're taking out two creatures with one toughness each, then a Deed for one would probably hit them anyways.
Mm-hmm. Arnold, is there? What was the last version of Elves that you played where Biorhythm was a viable option to have in the deck?
So I never really played with
Mm-hmm.
Biorhythm. That was Anton, who really pioneered that in Elves. And yeah, I mean, sweet version, you can turn three someone and just zero them out.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but so my version, which I played, it kind of I brewed it up, stemming from like when I started playing Premodern, like, and I wanted to play with my cradles and I wanted to play with my natural orders.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so when I was kind of like going through some like old Secret Force and whatever, it's just like, Elves is just better. And Natural Order was, just extra copies of Deranged Hermit right there. And you just go for a quick Hermit, quick Overrun. That was all like the version which I brewed around.
Mm-hmm. Harris, Did you recall that I have 3,600 wins against Arnold that you could use as credits to to beat
3,600 life
Elves?
points.
36,000.
No, 3,600.
36,000.
Oh no, yeah, oh yeah, because we
3,600
divide by
wins.
20.
Yeah,
That's right.
Okay.
3,600.
Oh, right. Divide by 20. Yeah.
Yeah.
How many thousand life points?
Yeah, 72,000. No
So
one's counting.
shout out to the Turtle Man, Jared Sitakowski. These are his loans to me.
Nice.
Are
they all Korean?
These are Korean. I believe the hermits are actually Japanese. Because
they might have stopped with Korean printings by then.
Yeah, because that.
Oh, if the
definitely
Korean has a endpoint
like
where they
Japanese
stop
and
printing
not
them?
Korean.
They don't print
Yeah, those look
Korean
Japanese.
Certain sets didn't get Korean, I think. Or I don't know, maybe. I mean, if there's a Korean version, he has to have it, right? Maybe he didn't want to send them to me. He was like, "You take the Japanese ones."
Well, I know I've seen altars of the Power 9 done in Japanese or Korean. He could definitely
in
get
Korean, and those are buddy of Jared's, Seth, or no, not Seth Ronker, Adam Mercado.
Oh, okay, it's Adams.
I know that because I lost to him at LobsterCon in old school, and he definitely
were
cracked
they his original ones? I'm trying to remember because I thought Roland Chang might have had those at one time, but
he might have, but I know like Adam is the one that like was really pushing Korean, and yeah, those were absolutely his Black Lotus altered to be Korean.
Yeah.
And I'm just looking at it like, oh my god. You are insane, but in the best way.
I think that's all the questions from the crowd, unless anybody else is out there. Let's see, does Rock... that was the other question that I was thinking of too. Was jumping back to Contagion, whether the deck supports enough black. I mean, with the tower.
Yeah, that's another good point. I don't know if there's enough black cards because it's really
I don't think so.
the deeds, the removal, and the discard, and that's it.
That's not really the benefit of the card.
Ooh, no, that is not a good card to hardcast. Yeah, no, it's literally just the deeds, the discard, and the removal, and it's like.
And you don't want to pitch those.
Right. Do you really want to pitch? Like, I could see pitching a discard late in the game, but you don't want to pitch the deeds. You don't want to pitch the removal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would go with Infest first before going with Contagion.
Yeah, or Plague Spitters. Like that is a good suggestion. That is a good card that I've definitely considered for decks and seen on the rise. It's like I said though, just obviously Elves is such a great deck. Like there isn't a win all, but the ability to hit the board and kill things makes it so much better than Plague Spitter. But then also the fact that like you basically have to find your answer for it. So like early in the game, like if I can manage, like that, like you stalled on lands in the beginning there. So if I had been able to land an early plague, then you basically you lose your two creatures because you didn't have the symbiote, and you basically would have had to find an answer for it naturally, right? You didn't have any ways to search in hand.
Correct.
Yeah. So I still think like obviously it's not going to win you the game on the spot because the deck is so good. Nothing's going to win you the game on the spot, but I just think Plague is the probably best single card. But it needs backup.
Well, yeah, for the Rock, Pyroclasm is the best card. Pyroclasm is
your options for Arnold. Your options for dealing with enchantments and artifacts are what? 4 naturalize, some in the board, some in the main deck, and a vigilante.
I'm not running the vigilante.
Okay, so you only have 4 total.
I've got 4 naturalize in the sideboard, and then I've got a Uktabi Orangutan for artifacts.
Yep.
Yeah, it really.
Can you do any
whenever
tricks?
I'm brewing, it sucks that there's no Reclamation Sage or Uktabi for enchantments. It's like you're down to a Lyrist, which is a turn,
Yeah.
an extra
Yeah, turn
turn
to
unless you
spell.
have anger, or what's the other option? Monk Realist, which you'd have to have white for.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I know one card that I'm always wishing that was in the format would be Seal of Premordium.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, having a green Seal of Cleansing. Oh, that would be so good.
That's an
For
enchantment.
Enchantress.
Yeah,
Yes.
I was gonna say
It's
this is a
it-
you thing.
yeah, it's just a green Seal of Cleansing, so
Right.
it's crazy. Or
Yeah, it
that
sucks that
new
Vigilante
disenchant
is
slash
basically 5
nationalize.
mana.
Mm-hmm. Yep. What else? Let's see. That looks about it.
All right.
Good games,
All
guys.
right.
Glad to
Good
see it go
ones.
to 3.
I just double checked my common ninja, and I did in fact pick you as the winner. So at least I won in my bracket.
Exactly. Exactly.
Pete
That's
Rose,
what
what are you doing?
matters. And then if you're watching Turtle Man, you'll be getting these in the mail. All right, guys.
Thank you guys much.
Good
Thank you
night.
guys.
Good games. Glad I got game 2.
All right.
Exactly.
We'll see
Lock
ya.
and Mr. Don later.
There you guys.
Take care.